Hi guys, two very interesting things came out of this Tory Minister Rachel Maclean interview with Kay Burley. First, that if inheritance tax was scrapped, Rishi Sunak's family would stand to benefit to the value of £300 million. Which once again begs the question, why did he become an MP and finally Prime Minister? Was it to help ordinary people or just the Sunaks? Second, it shows the calibre of ministers that Rishi Sunak has put in charge. Have a listen to what Rachel had to say about death.
What about when rich people die? Should their families pay less tax, inheritance tax?
Oh, you're talking about inheritance
I am.
tax here. So again, this is something that would happen at a fiscal event. And as far as I'm aware, there is no decision or announcement on that at the moment.
OK, because Labour claiming that inheritance tax changes would save Rishi Sunak's family almost £300 million, suggesting that it's a tax that would benefit rich people.
Well, I sort of slightly disagree with your comment that it's only for rich people. A lot of people feel very strongly about inheritance tax, and I'm a Conservative and I believe in lowering taxes wherever possible.
3.73% of UK deaths have resulted in inheritance tax.
Well, I think a lot of people do feel quite strongly that actually if they have their own home, they should be able to pass that on to their children.
But they can. Look, people feel strongly. She's not actually going against the figures. The figures are very few people end up paying inheritance tax. The vast majority, and I mean the vast majority of people, don't end up, like their families don't pay the inheritance tax. She's talking about a very small number of people. And of course, Rachel Maclean's response is, yeah, but many people feel it's a problem. It's not a problem, but we have created this idea in people's minds that it's a problem. And I'm not interested in actually fixing that problem. The problem of people not understanding the reality of inheritance tax.
3% of deaths last year.
Tiny
yes,
majority. But I think, look, that's people that have died last year. There's also people that are going to die in the future. It's a natural...
People are going to die in the future. People died last year. This is her response. This is nuts. People are going to die in the future. Once again, Rishi Sunak chooses the best people to put in his cabinet. People are going to die in the future. Okay.
Human instinct to want to pass on property, but as I've said,
but 96% of people can't.
Well, as I've said, there's no announcement on this, and I think the Chancellor will be obviously looking at this in a fiscal event or a budget as he does.
Okay, 27,000 estates in the UK were hit by inheritance tax last year, of the millions of people that died.
Well, you're talking about historical figures. As I've said, I think most people, it's a natural human instinct to want to be able to pass on property, and
it's a natural instinct to want to pass on property. Look, this is not about passing on property. This is about assets. Because when we're talking about the family home, this is pretty much exempt from that. We're not talking about family home. And see, once again, she's not interested in actually telling the truth here and informing the public and saying, look, the vast majority of people are not affected by this because it only affects people who have assets, property included, above £325,000. So if your elderly parents who are living in a council house or whatever pop their clogs and you inherit that, you are pretty much exempt. But if it's not your parents, if your uncle or whatever like that, if the value of the property is under £325,000, then you are exempt. Now, if it's a property worth $500,000 or $1 million or something, the first $325,000 is exempt, and then you pay 40% on the value above that. But that's if it's not your home, if it's not the household. But the bigger point here is that Rishi Sunak, his family, according to these changes, would benefit to the value of £300 million. So I had said before, I thought this was just, a policy to try and hold on to some support within the Conservative Party and hold on to some support within the voter bloc. But this actually could be a Rishi Sunak policy for the Rishi Sunak family. Once again, a bit like some of these, the Indian trade deal. Well, the Indian trade deal would benefit Rishi Sunak's family a great deal. wouldn't benefit the British people a lot, but it would benefit the Rishi Sunak family. And maybe this is another policy, well, let's get rid of the inheritance tax or reduce the rate on it to help the Rishi Sunak family. Because that's why Rishi Sunak is there, to help his family. Not to help the British people, not to grow the economy, not to stop the boats or anything like this. It's just to make his family richer. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.